Welcome back to my next review in the Ginger Snap series, Ginger Snaps Unleashed. Here's the story so far. Two sisters, Ginger and Bridget, lived in the suburbs of Bailey Downs. One night, Ginger was attacked by a creature causing her to turn into a werewolf, but this transformation isn't a moonlit one and is in fact permanent. So Bridget, with the help of a local drug dealer, think of a way to cure it using a genus of the wolfsbane plant called monk's hood. Ginger kills a few people and in an attempt to get her to stop, Bridget infects herself with her blood. Unable to cure her in time, Ginger fully turns into a werewolf, forcing Bridget to kill her and is now left on the run. So now that's out of the way, let's get started. And let's hope the opening credits are a bit more cheery this time.
I'm changed. Romans have nothing to do with it.
Fuck.
During these thoroughly depressing credits, we do get some audio from the first movie. It's a great bit of exposition too, because it shows everything we need to know about Bridget's situation. For example,
I'm changed. Romans have nothing to do with it.
that clip from the first movie is where Bridget lied about herself to protect Ginger, but its use here is now more relevant for this movie, giving a firm context to begin the movie on, and everyone, fans of the original and newcomers, knows what is at stake. After the credits, we find Bridget catching up on some light reading when she's approached by the clerk who tries his best pickup line.
I'm on to you. You come in here late at night. You stay until all the other avid readers are gone. You're attracted to me, but you fear rejection, so you bide your time, just kind of waiting for that perfect moment. Don't worry, I've been dealing with this all my life. I'm kidding.
He couldn't have done much worse, really.
Your fly's open.
Never mind.
Perfect. Yeah. I indulge in the occasional bloodletting myself.
Why would he think that's a good thing to say in any context? Plus, what would he have said if it was another book?
I indulge in the occasional genocide myself.
Bridget is unable to take out any books due to an overdue fine. Why wouldn't she just renew them? She's in there all the time. She leaves and goes back to where she's currently living, and that brings up a simple question of how is she paying for rent and food?
Sadly, we're never really given enough time to explore Bridget's day-to-day life, which is a shame because the movie could have worked solely on this premise, seeing how she dealt with all these problems. They didn't need to add any artificial obstacles with the main plot.
Once Bridget is home, she checks on the cut she made earlier, but it's already healed, and although Ginger is mostly dead at this point, of course,
There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead.
so she shows up to tell Bridget something she already knows, but at least we don't.
You're healing faster, aren't you? That shit's not a cure, you know, it just slows the transformation. It doesn't stop it, B. Nothing will stop it.
So, to sum up, a year later, Bridget is living out of a Motel 6, addicted to monk's hood, and spends her nights researching a cure while cutting herself.
I don't know about you, but this film gives me such warm feelings inside. Ah, that will be why.
Bridget, sensing something outside, Ginger confirms her suspicions.
You feel it? You're not alone. He's found you again.
And at that rather enigmatic statement, Bridget decides to get out of there as fast as possible. But quicker than you can say wrong time, wrong place, librarian guy shows up.
Oh, this is a major breach of library policy, but I brought you the books.
He sees she's pretty messed up, so he tries to help her to get to a hospital, and Bridget's not really in any state to do anything about it. And then we find out who the he Ginger was referring to is.
You get it, okay? I'm gonna get you some help.
Bridget tries to run, but due to the massive dose of monk's hood, she collapses in the snow.
Hey, sleepyhead. It's time.
After an undetermined amount of time, Bridget wakes up in a drug rehab clinic. Surely she should go to hospital first rather than rehab. I don't really have any rehab experience, but I would have at least thought they'd let her wake up in hospital and explain the situation to her.
This is what I meant by artificial obstacles, because the staff mention it later how monkshood isn't illegal and has no drug-like effect. So to me, that would mean they have no reason to keep her there against her will.
And with the assumption the staff make about her drug problem, there's just as much evidence to assume it was an elaborate suicide attempt. So it all just seems like a lot of plot convenience.
Your library card, which was the only ID that we could find on you, said that your name was Bridget. Is that true?
Did you find him?
Find who?
The librarian guy, Jeremy. He came through the window. It attacked him.
You know, you suffered a near-fatal anaphylactic reaction.
And they found Bridget laying on the ground not very far from where they were attacked, but not the librarian. That's not the only inconsistency with this conversation. Just watch.
Listen, I saw a guy die. His blood was on my face.
You did have blood on your face, but it was from the cuts on your arms.
How can they think the blood was hers? Surely they would check for that sort of thing, and if they truly thought the blood was from the cuts on her arms, then why aren't they bandaged at all? And you can clearly see they're completely healed.
3 years ago, we became a dual care facility. We house chronic care patients from the hospital system. Barbara was badly burned in a fire. That's her granddaughter. She's here until we find her a foster home.
We then take a walk where Alice introduces the most annoying character, Ghost.
She realized her captors were capable of terrifying feats.
Bridget, Ghost, Bridget.
That at night they used to torture their prisoners in vats of pig grease.
Yep, that would be my reaction too if I met Ghost.
Bridget tries to escape, but shock! The doors are locked. Seriously, what was she expecting? But I guess they did leave the security gate unlocked, so who knows with this place. She's locked up in her room, where I'm sure she'll stay for quite a while, considering she's a potential escape risk. Or be taken straight to group therapy.
Wow, they work pretty fast. They don't even care if a patient who nearly overdosed has all the narcotics out of her system. They just stick her in the first chance they get.
And with group therapy, the writers could have used this to give the patients some kind of personality, but really this is all we get.
Like the fact that my chemical dependency is A, related to stuff that happened to me as a child, and B, that I have to explore that stuff with you all here.
She's emotional.
Dr. Bruckner, if she doesn't shut up, I swear I'll make her drink her piss again.
And they're the bullies. But even then, you don't need to know that.
And now it's Bridget's turn to share with the group.
Bridget, you have a room of people pretty curious about Bridget.
And incidentally, a room full of people who think you really suck at suicide.
What's your best case scenario? Go there.
The staff really don't care much about verbal abuse. They just carry on like nothing happened. Fortunately, Bridget's there to lighten the mood with a small speech that pretty much sums up the entire movie.
My best case scenario, Eleanor, is hair everywhere but my eyeballs. Elongation of my spine till my skin splits. Teats. And a growing tolerance, maybe even affection for the smell and taste of feces. Not just my own. And then excruciating death.
You know, Bridget, some girls find group useful.
Whoa. Go back. You sent her to the office for, I assume, her little outburst, and the first thing you write down is lesbian ? You choose not to write down delusional and potentially violent, sending to office? I know it's meant to be a bit humorous, but seriously, I think we're past that.
Where were you? Timing how long it takes your cuts to heal.
Wow, they're diligent in the care and close watch of Bridget, who they know to be a cutter.
I have full faith in this care facility.
If I was messed up in the way you think I am, I would really appreciate someone like you to help me.
And Bridget, if I was stupid in the way that you wish I was, I'd let you go. I have been where you are.
You have no idea where I am.
Doesn't that make them curious at all? They never ask her to explain anything. They assume she has a drug problem, but there's so much that warrants questioning. But of course, they can't ask those questions, because then we wouldn't have a story.
If you keep me here, people are gonna die.
Yeah, that probably won't help her case either. Bridget is locked in her room again as she proceeds to use the piece of glass she took to check her healing rate. Elsewhere, the staff discuss Bridget and the monkshood. And this is where they say monkshood is completely legal and so toxic it would kill an average adult. But they see no reason to ask Bridget about it. Not that she'd tell them, but plot convenience forces these characters not to question a thing. Ghost is caught watching from the doorway. Getting kicked out, she goes to look through her stash of comics. And I don't mean to harp on about this, but it just reinforces my point. Ghost is thinking about the whole werewolf thing. Yes, you could argue she's a child and thinks like that, but it's still all too convenient.
It's like the plot needs A. Everyone needs to assume Bridget is a drug addict, and B. Ghost needs to be the only one to even consider something else going on, regardless of whether it makes logical sense.
Later that night, Bridget gets a visitor who seems a little too helpful.
What are you doing in here?
You know, it's amazing the things you'll find in this place at night.
Are you gonna give that to me?
Mm-hmm. But I get to do it. And I get to choose where. But it has to be in a place that no one else will see. Pull down your pants.
Okay, that's it. Now we have Rape Nurse. I'm gonna need a moment. Gonna get some depression detox. Okay, where was I?
Pull down your pants.
Oh yeah. Tyler is one of the characters I want to see dead. So tell me, how long has he got left? And how much time of the movie have we got left?
And right after Rape Nurse, him and Ghost are hanging out, which isn't creepy at all.
Why do all the ones that get killed have tattoos?
Why was he so anxious to get rid of her?
Because it was past her bedtime. Let's go.
Oh crap, there's a dog. Don't worry. I'm sure the filmmakers don't have the same dog massacre lust as the first movie did. I mean, it's a secure facility. It's not like they're gonna leave him outside or... Fuck. Let's just, move on. The next day in the rec room with everyone watching TV, the bullies make sure they keep to type.
This is getting so boring. It's an ancient game. The throwing of pennies at the local moron or midget.
And to almost mirror Ginger in the first movie dealing with a bully, Bridget takes action.
Would you like me to throw you at her head?
I do like that they're keeping up on the pain for bullies angle. Back in her room, Bridget sees she's healing quickly, but we're not really given a firm context on the time frame, so it could be a day or a week, we don't really know. Next day during lunch, Ghost shows up, mainly to show how annoying she is, and to establish that she believes Bridget's werewolf stuff, which is promptly confirmed.
You're here.
Get out!
I know where Tyler keeps his stash.
I said get out! Ginger.
Bridget panics and calls for Ginger, and she's basically an emotional crutch for Bridget, but Ginger is essentially the wolf part of her personality manifested, trying to convince Bridget of the hopelessness of her situation.
It's starting.
So it is. Well, you have two options then, don't you? Either give in or give up. It only dies if you do.
But Bridget's not inclined to do either right now, and once again mirrors Ginger when she tried to remove her tail. Bridget was there to help Ginger and managed to stop her, but now Bridget's alone and can only do what she needs to survive. Later that night, Ghost has taken it upon herself to get Bridget some monkshood from Tyler's stash, and she finds him conducting some business.
Drug addict blowjob. Keep it classy, Tyler.
The very next day, Ghost manages to get the monkshood to Bridget, without any trouble whatsoever. Again, just fantastic security in that drug rehab clinic. But of course, it doesn't last long for Tyler to find out about his missing drugs.
Hey. You touch my stuff again. And I'll tell Alice where you keep your comics.
He corners Bridget, which gives us a brief glimpse into her mind and desires.
Are you sniffing me?
Bridget tries to appease him, but this drug-dealing rapist has a code.
I made a mistake. Please give it to me.
No. There has to be consequences to our actions, or there is no order. And there has to be order in a place, where things get very, very confused.
Tyler dumps the monkshood on the floor, but that's not going to stop Bridget.
Welcome to rehab, baby.
And Ginger isn't impressed with her either.
You're starting to understand, aren't you? How it all starts with wanting. I mean, what were you thinking when he was in that stall with you? Because even I, really, was shocked.
I wanted the
monk's
hood.
I mean, what did you want when he was pushing up against you? You're starting to figure it out, aren't you? How it all starts innocently enough. Today you want to fuck him, tomorrow you just want to bite a hole in his sternum.
Well, after that inspiration from Ginger, it's time for some aspiration with some more group therapy.
Close your eyes. I am wiping all you've ever been. All the names you've ever been called.
Nobody's really paying much attention though, and who can blame them? It's not particularly useful stuff.
Think of the structure below, the wood and metal that supports you. And once your hand is in position on your clitoris, we'll begin with a gentle counterclockwise rotation.
I stand corrected. It seems the filmmakers took Ginger's little speech from the first one a little too literally.
Experiment with rhythm. Find your own.
Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you see it, Ginger interrupts the festivities, revealing it to be a daydream.
Great form, B.
Bridget?
And Bridget sees that her transformation is progressing, although the hairy palms are a little too appropriate considering what just happened. Bridget tries using the piece of glass to kill herself, but she's unable to go through with it, instead choosing Tyler's option. And this really focuses what we've seen of Bridget. Because we know she's a survivor, but now it's clear that no matter what, she's willing to do anything to survive, and she's determined to not end up the way Ginger did. And Tyler, being the drug-dealing rapist he is, makes it difficult for her.
Do you smile?
What?
Can you smile? See, you smile at the world, and the world will smile right back at you. You should be getting back to your room.
Will you come? come? Will you come?
I'll think about it.
Bridget gets the monk suds she needed, but not before Tyler makes things even more uncomfortable.
There's this vein down here that is very private. So you shave? Well, I think that's just great.
And that weird creaking sound happens whenever monkshood is featured, giving it that odd feeling, telling us of its danger and the damage it's doing to Bridget's body. The next morning, Bridget's doing the laundry, and Ghost tells her what she's found.
What?
Bridget knows what did it, but Ghost has her own theory.
I told them not to leave him alone outside. He'd be vulnerable to all the dangers of the night. Which you're the worst.
How could I have done that? I can't even get out of my room.
I don't know. You move through walls or something.
Well, after that piece of stupidity, Ghost tells Bridget she can get her out, but only if Ghost can come too.
I know a way out. Through the vents. But you have to take me with you.
The plan is in action, and all it requires is the use of an easily accessible air duct.
Again, just fantastic security.
Bridget gets out of the duct through the use of Ghost's directions, and she wanders around the building looking for a way out, but instead she catches the ending of some more classy Tyler. Bridget is discovered, but as they're both not allowed to be there, and Bethan's pretty damn high, they explore together for a bit. After some more wandering around, they finally encounter the wolf, and with Bethan being the bully of our story, it goes as well as you might expect.
Oh no, not Bethan. She was so important and diverse as a character.
Help. Police. Murder.
Anyway, Ghost has now arrived, but Bridget would rather go back than face the wolf.
Go back to the clinic. Why? What's going on?
And with those stern words, they continue to look for an exit. Okay? So after some more wandering around in the dark, they come across Bethan's body.
You gotta pay the ferryman. Let's go. Good luck on your sad journey to the other side, Bethan. I'm sorry you were such a cunt.
Wow. I mean, she's not wrong, but wow. Oh shit, she's still alive. What are they going to do now? Kill her to prevent the possibility of another wolf? Quick, no time to think. Surprise wolf attack. But actually, let's think about it for a moment. The fact that Bethan's alive could suggest she'd turn, and given the close quarters of the clinic, this could easily allow an infection to spread, effectively breeding a large wolf pack, with the wolf that's currently pursuing Bridget as an alpha male. This could allow the plot to use Bridget's incarceration to something potentially interesting and unique. Instead, it's just another obstacle for her to overcome.
They run into the crematorium, which fortunately is their way out, but the wolf isn't held back for long. Bridget, after reinserting her leg, plays dead. Ghost distracts the wolf so Bridget can make a break for it. They set a fire behind them, trapping the wolf, and they get out of there with a car that Ghost surprisingly knows how to drive.
you think it's dead? Let's go!
Meanwhile, the clinic staff have finally noticed that Bridget has flown the coop.
I don't need to say it, do I?
Back in the car, Ghost can't resist asking questions, so we get a little backstory.
Well, where did it come from? The infinite darkness?
I don't think so, Ghost. More like the suburbs.
The suburbs? That's pretty interesting, because at least there's certain possibilities. The obvious one is that a current wolf stalking Bridget is Mo. But it could also mean that the wolf in the first movie was part of a pack, which actually makes sense in the context of the third movie. Also, Bridget imparts some personal knowledge on the wolves.
You killed your own sister?
There wasn't much of Ginger left in what I killed.
So what do you use, the silver bullet?
A knife. They're not superheroes, Ghost.
Not superheroes? You just shrugged off a dislocated leg and blunt force trauma. Seems rather superhuman to me. They make a pit stop to get food and for Bridget to clean up a bit. After creeping out the mechanic a bit, Bridget goes to clean up and finds she's healing faster than she expected.
It's happening too fast. I need the monk's hood. Where's the needle? Oh, crap.
They reach Ghost's home and she proceeds to show a large degree of self-reliance, like setting up the house and siphoning petrol. You know, the normal skills a young girl learns. Bridget searches the house for a needle while Ghost talks about her grandmother a bit.
Never had a sleepover before. Well, once I almost did. But then Barbara told Caroline, Keisha's mom, that she'd have to pay her $9 an hour because it was basically like babysitting.
Wow, Barbara sounds like a real bitch. We then find out what happened to Barbara.
She was putting up Christmas lights in here. I was in the living room. And she yelled for me to plug them in so she could see which ones were broken. They lit her synthetic moo-moo on fire. When I came in, she was screaming, trying to stop, drop, and roll. But that just got her more and more twisted up in the lights.
Wow, I actually feel bad about calling her a bitch.
I'm just shitting you. She fell asleep with her bedtime cigarette. I always told her not to smoke in bed.
Oh, that makes me feel a little better.
After a while of searching, Bridget finds something that she can use.
Barbara had dry eyes.
She uses the eyedropper to get a dose of monk's hood, which must sting like a son of a bitch to say the least. While Bridget recovers, we find out why the wolf wants her so badly.
Maybe he's like you, and it's not in his nature to kill. And he secretly wants...
It wants to mate with me.
Oh.
Don't try too hard to visualize that.
That's certainly a neat take on the werewolf story, but I have to question how Bridget knows that's what he wants. Did she catch it humping her leg one time?
Moving on, the next morning Bridget wakes up alone and finds something strange outside. What that is, you know, I'll let Ghost explain.
What is that thing out front?
Polyester. She explodes. When I get her set up in the yard, she'll be attached to a tripwire. We'll see how he likes that.
Yeah, Ghost showing a rather large aptitude for pyrotechnics there. Bridget talks to Ghost and tries to get her to leave because she knows how dangerous she can become.
You have to take the car, and you have to get out of here.
You didn't leave your sister.
But Ghost is very insistent in this matter.
Look at you. I'm not leaving you.
And later that night, she gets her grandmother's gun. And she chooses to hide it from Bridget, so it's clear that the gun isn't just for the wolf on the outside. Speaking of which...
It's just me!
You scared me.
She's not even hesitating when it comes to self-mutilation anymore. but self-mutilation is practically a running theme in these movies at this point.
And after Bridget freaks Ghost out, polyester blows up, possibly killing the wolf. Bridget goes to make sure it's dead, which is pretty smart for your average horror movie protagonist. Usually they don't bother at all. And it's a good thing she did, because polyester killed herself a deer instead of her intended target. And Ghost watches as even Bridget is unable to stop herself from having a little nibble.
Vegetarians might want to look away.
This incident is all Bridget can take, and contacts Tyler at the gas station to get some monkshood. While they wait, Bridget goes inside because... Actually, I'm not too sure why she'd go in. Ah, that's why she went in there, so we could up the stakes plot-wise. She gets back to the car just after Tyler arrives, and with the wolf close, they get out of there. They get back without incident, and Bridget, not wanting to wait, gets ready to receive her dose of monkshood. But she's not really altogether with it, looking more like the junkie they suspect her to be at this point, and needs help to inject herself.
Here, let me do it. Give it here, right? Relax.
Bridget starts to get the usual pains from the injection, but it would seem she's waited too long, and her body has now started to reject the monkshood in a rather violent way.
Okay, that is not good.
Bridget?
This is not good. This is so not supposed to be happening.
Bridget, what's happening?
What is that shit anyway?
Tyler takes her into the other room, and as he does, he pushes Ghost. And it's subtle, but you can see when he pushes her, she reacts rather aggressively, with the addition of the sinister music sting.
Alright, come here.
Which certainly tells us something is up. Especially when Ghost goes into the attic to overhear Tyler's phone call to Alice. Bridget is left alone, reeling in pain on the bed, and the monkshood has almost accelerated her transformation as her spine elongates and the colours of her eyes change. Tyler returns to help, but Bridget's sexual side appears once again. A vision of Ginger reminds her of what could happen, and she tells Tyler to get out, more for his own safety than her own.
Get out!
What?
I need to be alone.
After that, Tyler goes to Ghost to apologise for pushing her before, and if you get a slightly creepy vibe, that's normal.
Did I hurt you when I pushed you? I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Bridget wakes up recovered slightly, and Ginger's words from the start are heard again.
Hey, sleepyhead. It's time.
At the start, those words didn't make much sense, but now with Bridget on the verge of her transformation, and Ginger appearing as a wolf, perhaps they make much more sense now. Bridget then goes to the attic and finds Ghost after Tyler was there.
What happened? We shouldn't have brought him here.
And you thought he couldn't get any worse. Well, it's looking to be that time in the movie, and it's to be Bridget who deals our killing blow.
But Bridget figures, hey, if you got a killer werewolf at your disposal, why not use it? And quoting what Tyler said to her, she locks him out and waits.
Without consequences to our actions, things get very confused.
Okay.
Yeah, I needed that.
But that's the last straw for Bridget, and she starts to make preparations to kill the wolf once and for all, and with a vision of Ginger to berate her as she does it.
You can't fight what's in us, B.
I'm not like you, Ginger. I'm stronger.
Oh, really? But that's not how I remember you the first 15 years of your life.
It's how I remember the last 15 minutes of yours.
Bad ass.
So they gather everything sharp they can find and make themselves a pit trap. And for added measure, Ghost adds her favourite thing, petrol.
Stand back.
How long will it burn?
Barbara took about 27 minutes.
Right. Okay, I gotta admit, I missed that the first time, mainly because it comes right the fuck out of nowhere. But yes, with Ghost's skill of siphoning petrol and the secret stash she keeps, we can begin to suspect some foul play here.
While we have Ghost to worry about, the film reminds us that there's a wolf outside, as a sound is heard and they get ready for a fight, and Ghost gets ready with her gun, which she doesn't hesitate with.
Go back to the darkness! Ghost!
Ah, yeah, perhaps she should have hesitated just a little.
You shot at me! What the hell?
And Ghost doesn't bother with any charades now and tells Alice where everyone is.
Tyler called me. Where is he? Huh?
In the woods.
Well, where are the other girls? Where's Bridget? Tyler said that she was ODing again.
Beth Ann's in the basement of the clinic, and Bridget's here. She's fine.
Whoa! Bridget doesn't look that fine to me. Clearly she's not taken to the transformation as gracefully as Ginger did. But perhaps her prolonging of the transformation through monkshood has caused it to manifest erratically. Bridget sees an anti-smoking plaque on the wall and figures out that Ghost has been lying to her about Barbara, and that she lied about Tyler as well, which she doesn't take too kindly as she goes to confront Ghost.
What happened to Grandma?
She fell asleep with a cigarette.
Grandma didn't smoke. You burned Barbara. Did you lie about Tyler, too?
He pushed and he pulled, and he laughed when she cried.
What did he really do?
He took advantage of her heart.
He didn't do it, did he?
And Alice, listening in the background, obviously points the gun at the right person.
Step away.
Good choice, Alice. Although when your choice is the pyromaniac and someone who looks like, well, like that.
Tough choice.
Alice wants to leave with Ghost, but Bridget explains the situation.
I wouldn't go out there if I were you.
It's now time for the final battle with the wolf as it enters the house. Bridget tries to lure it close, but Ghost causes a distraction, forcing Bridget to attack and get bitten in the process. Ghost's distraction gets the wolf's attention, attacking her, but Bridget draws it back into the hallway, perfectly placed for her trap, which it jumps over anyway. And then Bridget proceeds to beat the living shit out of it. Bridget pushes it towards the trap, with her looking like she'll go down with it. However, the wolf is still alive and pulls her into the pit, effectively making the choice for her.
Also, this wolf can take a shit ton of punishment. What was it that Bridget said?
They're not superheroes, Ghost.
Oh yeah, that's right.
With the wolf and Bridget seemingly dead, the house falls silent. Ghost wants to see if she's still alive, but Alice stops her. I think that might be a bad move on Alice's part. What was it that Tyler said?
Why do all the ones that get killed have tattoos?
I wonder.
Oh my God, something's still alive down there. Bridget? Get back upstairs.
Called it. And taking into account the possibility that Ghost has been fantasizing about killing Alice really shows how psychotic she actually is. But it turns out that Bridget is still alive and crawls to Ghost, begging for her to kill her. to which Ghost coldly pushes her down and closes the door. And our movie ends with narration from Ghost as she waits for Barbara to return home, so she can use Bridget to kill her and any other enemies.
And so began Ghost's reign of moral terror.
Yeah, I don't really see that ending well for Ghost.
So that was Ginger Snaps Unleashed. And really, it's actually a pretty good sequel to the original. The only thing that holds it back, though, is that in order for Bridget to get where the plot needs her to be, the characters around her need to make assumptions that really don't make any sense. To use a previous example, Alice assuming the blood on Bridget's face was her own, despite not having any injuries. And with the dark and depressing atmosphere throughout, it might be a bit too much for some people.
With a large undercurrent of hopelessness for Bridget, plus the fact that she's dragged, beaten and bloodied throughout, leading to a down of an ending that leaves a bitter taste in the mouth. Granted, that's probably what the filmmakers were intending, and I commend them wholeheartedly for the effort, but it would have been nice to have some shining light of hope somewhere, because without it, the story is without tension, and less about if our protagonist perishes, but simply when.
But I have to say, I'm really looking forward to the conclusion of this story, and how our resident psycho Ghost will try to use Bridget, and hopefully see how she gets what she deserves too, in our third and final movie, Ginger Snaps Back, The Beginning. 1800s!